Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily Tri and the Triathlon Weekly News Roundup presented by thefeed.com. Can't believe it, guys. Last weekend was a 1-year mark for the channel when I officially started it as the Daily Tri, and I just can't believe how big it's grown and the opportunities I've had because of it. It's just at Super League Malibu, headed to Kona next week, and yeah, just never would have expected that. I absolutely love doing it. I've loved meeting so many of you at races, and just a big thank you from me. I have so many ideas where I want to take this channel and just help the sport of triathlon grow. I got into it for fun, just to build some hype around Kona last year. Can't wait to build hype for years to come. So without further ado though, let's dive back into the regular news show. And as always, we're gonna go over the race results that happened this weekend. Like I said, I was at Super League Malibu. It was an incredible experience. I was there to film for the RTS Warriors, which is a whole story I can't wait to tell you all about tomorrow. So make sure you come back from that because it truly was an amazing experience. Super League is epic. I'm totally sold on it. The racing was so fast that as I was trying to film, I didn't really have time to understand what was going on, who was winning. I mean, these guys are just finishing and then running back to the beach to get ready to start again. Their team managers are setting up their bikes in between all of that. And yeah, it's just really epic. Now, Hayden Wild and Cassandra Beaugrand take the wins there. They're on the Scorpions team. And at first, when I first started watching Super League with their whole team setup, I wasn't too sure about it. I didn't see how people would really get behind this, but after the weekend, I found myself really enjoying the team scenario, and a lot of the athletes do as well that I spoke to. So yeah, those were big wins for Hayden and Cassandra for the Scorpions. And yeah, it was Leo Berger and Matt Hauser finished second and third in the men's race, and then Emma Lombardi and John LaHare finished second and third in the women's race, which those results really shook up the leaderboards. It is really, really close going into the grand final in Neom. It's on October 21st. You don't want to miss it because that race offers more points than the other races, which is going to shake everything up. And I think it's going to be epic. But then there was also World Triathlon taking place in Morocco. And it had been a few years since World Triathlon had a World Cup in Africa. And this one didn't seem to disappoint. Pierre Lecour and Lisa Turch took the wins there thanks to their brilliant run speed. Pierre Lecour set like a 14:30 5K, which is mind-blowing, and then Lisa Turch ran from the chase pack of the bike all the way to win in a race which included Vicky Holland returning to racing. She was the 28 world champion, so can't wait to see how she gets back into form after having her kid, her first child, just 8 months ago. She finished 7th at that race, in fact, so that's pretty remarkable. What else was remarkable was Jamie Riddle's swim. Now, it's not often you see in short course races somebody getting a 20-second lead in the front after the swim portions. That was pretty great for him. Unfortunately, he had some mechanical issues on the bike, so he didn't finish as high as he would have hoped to after that swim. Also had a smaller race at the New York City Triathlon where Matt Sharp took the win there ahead of Michael Arashida and Timothy O'Donnell. And then on the women's side, Amy Zimmerman, Jenna Horner, and Ginger Howell, who took the podium spot. But with that out of the way, let's move on to the top news headlines, of which there are some good ones as always. The first one to get out of the way is Ironman has announced 2 70.3 races that are going to be added to the calendar next year. One in Czech Republic, which sounds pretty interesting to me. I've always wanted to go visit there. And also there's going to be one in Valencia, Spain. So 2 great races added to the calendar, both 70.3s. We've seen Ironman drop a few full distance races recently. It looks like they're continually moving and focusing on that 70.3 distance. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they add a couple more full Ironman races for next year. But then moving on to my second headline, and this was thanks to Thorsten Rad's amazing Kona Preview document that you can download from his website, trirating.com. Thorsten's known as the stats guy in triathlon, and he always does the expected results for a lot of Ironman races. And this one, it turned out so close, which is, I think, what a lot of us expected for this upcoming women's race, which just looks epic. I believe there's 56 names on the start list right now, and there's so many good ones on that list, but the top 6 right now are expected to finish within 3 minutes and 47 seconds of each other right now. And yeah, I really think it's going to be such a good race. Can't wait to go there. Let me know what you think of those expected times. You see Chelsea Sodaro taking the win. From what I've seen right now, most people are favoring Taylor Knibb and Anne Haug. I'm going to save my predictions for next week for my podcast and a specific video around it, but I'd highly recommend checking out his website and downloading the full report if you want to know absolutely everything about that women's race coming up. Moving on from there to talk about Sam Lalo. And this is because his dad, Richard Lalo, is also his coach, went on a podcast with the Triathlon Hour, Jack Kelly, and it was another fantastic episode. His dad shared so much about his training philosophies, how he trained Sam, what their environment is like, and just by listening to it, I noticed they do so many things different to what I've heard other pros are doing. And the biggest one of those that stood out to me is that on average, they're only doing about 24 hours of training a week. So many good nuggets in there. They just clearly are doing something different in order to win the world champs by that much. And yeah, highly recommend checking that one out. Moving on from there to someone who is looking to do stuff different as well, and that's Lionel Sanders. He put up a video recapping his race at Augusta 70.3, where he said he was not interested in that race at all because he was never in contention for the win. He said he doesn't really know what he's been doing. He doesn't know why he's raced so much. It was a pretty typical Lionel video that we've come to know, but he does seem more motivated than ever to really focus in on the small details and to do the things he knows he should have been doing for the last few years. And he looks like he really is going to make those changes, as he was on a Breakfast with Bob interview recently, which he doesn't always do that often. He's not on a lot of podcasts, but he explained that he's already working again with Jerry Rodriguez. He's planned to go out to him this month already, as well as he's going to be doing some road testing aerodynamically this weekend, and then going to the velodrome later in the month as well, before finally heading out to go get wind tunnel testing with Canyon sometime in December and January. It'll be interesting to see if this really makes the difference for Lionel finally. He keeps saying how acutely aware he is of his time and how much he's got left in the sport. And I think it's safe to say we're all rooting for him to finally put the puzzle pieces together to get the best out of himself. I personally think it's really good that he's taking a step back. He's not just going to keep doing more races, and yeah, just really put the focus in where he needs to. Daniel Beckergaard did comment on his post saying that it was really depressing and that he thinks he should come out and train with him in St. Moritz, and he'll give him the love for triathlon back again. So that would be a great partnership. They both have the best YouTube channels. I vote Lionel head out to go train with Daniel Beckergaard. But those are pretty much the big headlines for the week. Okay, editing Travis here, totally forgot two big pieces of news I heard coming out of a Pro Tri News podcast with Chris Gamble. And he said that down the road, maybe not next year, but potentially the year after and in the future, he expects maybe the WTCS races and the PTO races to take place on the same weekend. That is huge news. I think would be pretty epic, and it'd be much easier to track all of those athletes at the same time. But then he also said, when asked about the future and what he'd like to see, he mentioned that they would love to get another medal into the Olympics for triathlon. He didn't mention specifically what that could be, but that is one of World Triathlon's goals for potentially 2032. So I'll definitely be keeping my eye out on those two big topics from World Triathlon. Can't believe I almost forgot to add that in. Okay, back to the rest of the video. We've also got some good upcoming races to talk about. We've got 70.3 Langkawi, I believe is how you say it, in Malaysia. She's got some good names like Ashley Gentle and Braden Curry racing there. And also Hella Gaines, who's a really good short course athlete with the coolest name in my opinion. He's done some 70.3 races before, so keep an eye out for him. I reckon he's trying to get his qualifying spot to 70.3 Worlds next year. So that should be a fun one. Unfortunately, it's not broadcast. The next broadcast race is Ironman Portugal, which is coming up after Kona. There's 3 back-to-back Ironmans before any 70.3 races. There's Ironman Portugal, Ironman Israel, and Ironman Florida. But we also, back to this weekend, have Challenge Barcelona, which is going to be an interesting format race, but it will see the return of Alistair Brownlee. And yeah, he's actually racing back-to-back. The next race after that is going to be in Colombia. So 2 big races for Alistair to come back. It'll be good to see how his running's going after his ankle surgery just before the PTO US Open. But before we move on from there to the hot take, the video of the week, and the article of the week, I just wanted to thank one of the sponsors of the channel, and this time it is Fuelin. I've told you guys about them before because I absolutely love them. Their app works so well. It was exactly what I needed. It takes away all the guesswork from nutrition in your daily life, not only for just breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but also for exactly what you need for training, as it connects to your training app and automatically adjusts based on your plan and your goals. And yeah, they've really thought of everything. They helped me out towards my marathon. I didn't have any nutrition or stomach problems for that race, and I never had that before. So yeah, can't thank them enough for sponsoring the channel. And I'm also heading out with them to Kona to help film a couple of the pro athletes that they worked with. And yeah, just super grateful and can recommend checking it out enough. Make sure you check out my code as well. But all right, on to my hot question of the week. Not my hot take, this is a hot question. And this one I've been saving for a little bit, but I think it's perfect timing around Kona. And this comes from Sky Mancha's interview with Talking Triathlon, specifically Tim Ford. And she asked a great question on there saying, why don't women get as much hype as the men? So I want to ask that to you. Please tell me down below what you think in the comments. She talked about a video leading into the PTO US Open where Chelsea Sodaro got a lot of negative feedback in comments for her confidence in that video, or her cockiness as some people might have thought of it. Whereas Christian, in his interview with Jan, didn't really get any negative feedback or comments, but they were also very confident and cocky in the way they spoke. She really did wonder what it was that was the difference, whether it was sexism or if just people respond differently to women than they do men. But she said she'd love to show off that competitiveness she has and rivalries like the men have. I know I personally love the Ellie Salthouse, Holly Lawrence rivalry they had for a bit. She did call out Kat Matthews as her rival that she wants. She said she'd love to beat her because Kat has beaten her in every race so far. And apparently Sky's training is going really good, so I'll keep my eyes out on those two, and I hope that rivalry can really heat up. I think it is an important aspect of the sport. But is triathlon too nice maybe on the women's side? Let me know your thoughts, like I said, down below on this one. But moving on from there to the video of the week, and now I was super curious for this segment, so I went on to YouTube and put in the filters for the most popular YouTube triathlon video. And yeah, all the top suspects were there, like the sprint finish between Bevan Doherty and Chris Gimmel, the London 2012 Olympics. There was a couple motivational videos thrown in there that have done really well. But the #1 triathlon video of all time is Bernard Bear doing a triathlon. Couldn't believe it. 57 million views. So thank you, Bernard, for getting a lot of young children hopefully interested or at least knowing about triathlon. But then on to the article of the week, and this one I found really interesting. It's by Triathlon Magazine Canada, who did a great little article on one of On's founders, who was a 5-time Ironman Switzerland winner. And they talked all about him and how his Ironman mindset helped him develop this $7 billion company, how it started, what they did at the beginning. And I thought a lot of you might enjoy that one. So check that one out. It's just a quick read, but a really good one. I didn't know that On was founded by an Ironman champion winner. So really good one. But moving on from there to the humor of the week. And this one goes to Will McCloy, hyping up his cameraman at the Super League races.
Potter and Lahair are going stride for stride with our cameraman again. Oh, he's on fire today.
Will provides the best hype in commentary. I think we can all agree on that. He is so pumped up. And yeah, I was just laughing when I was hearing him really get stoked about how fast his cameraman was running, who I met in person. Super nice guy, and yeah, really committed to his job. And my other humor of the week was Christian Blumenfeld throwing an American football as they went to go see a Chargers game, I believe, after the Super League race. And yeah, he just looked so happy and getting high fives from the football players, and that just made me giggle as well. So hopefully it did for you too. And with that, we'll end it right there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really enjoy this, like I said, super grateful for this year. And yeah, stay tuned for my next video coming up about the RTS Warriors, my experience with Super League. Thanks guys, see you in the next one. Bye.